Okay, so my name is Santiago Lorente. My role in Microsoft is to, I work with the customers. I am the sales part. So I am the interface between the customer needs and the technical knowledge that is in Microsoft that is here represented by Pedro Pablo, who's much more skilled than I am. When I was invited to do this presentation, I tried to take a catchy title, and the easy way, I think it represents the way that we approach the big data. First of all, the big data is a hot topic. You only have to see this full room of people, the interest that there is. This is Google Trends, so the concept is highly hot right now. We see a lot of studies or a lot of data regarding the savings that the companies can do, the technology revolution. Everyone is talking about us, but we have to see these things in a context. And the context is still, and this is a survey to many of the big corporations, the main data that they are concerned for the company are the data more related to the real business. Let's say forecasting, sales figures, things like that. And structured or social network data are still not very valuable for the companies. And that's because what we are speaking about when we're speaking about big data, we're speaking what we are in this stage is difficult to see, but we are in what Gartner names the peak of inflated expectations. So pretty much we are in the top of the popularity of the concept. It's not bad news. It happens with every technological concept. Then we will go through the value of the solution. So everything will seem let hot the topic. But it's when actually the business is happening. And we will reach the plateau of productivity. Let's say we will be main technology, a technology that exists in the main companies and it's fully deployed and is part of the current portfolio in about 2 to 5 years, which is high speed concerning to Gartner. So right now we are in the top of our popularity, but we will be here for a while. As I said before, my main work in Microsoft is to work with the customers, try to understand what they want to do, what they want to achieve, and try to give them a good proposal, a solution that fits their really needs. I do this quite often. I have done a lot of projects. I have met a lot of customers. Some of them may be here in the room. And I want to focus on the things that I've seen that don't work well when you face a big data project. Those topics are not chosen by me, but pretty much are what I think about it. Chosen by Forrester in an article I read recently. And those topics are basically 3. Not starting the project with a question, underestimating the technical skills that you want to have and you will need during the project, and creating another data silo. Let's start with so under these projects, what our approach and the purpose of this presentation is to try to make the things at least a bit easier. I'm not meaning that a big data project is easy. I'm not meaning that it's impossible. I'm meaning that you have to watch every step of the way in order to make things work. And this is the approach that we want to do. So let's start with the first question, or the lack of that question. Not starting a project with the question, what really means for me? It means that business is not behind this project. And if business is not behind this project, you will have 2 problems sooner or later. Normally sooner. You won't have funds to run the project. Because normally the funds come from business. In these times of crisis where budgets are struggling to, we have problems of budget, if you don't have money to show value to the business, you're out of the game. So it's critical from the scratch of the project to have those questions that business want to solve, to show the value of the big data to the business. If you don't do so, you'll do a pretty nice POC. You can see the technical viability of the solution, but probably you won't get support behind that point. Because when someone has to found that the continuity of that POC, he won't see value in that. So what kind of questions are we asking, are we helping our customers to answer? This is a typical kind of question. How can I be sure that the claim of this customer, of this particular customer, is licit? This is something that everyone in the insurance business industry, everyone on the business side, is eager to ask. He wants to have better information in order to, because this goes directly to the bottom line of a business. How can we do that? How can we integrate big data to do so? There are many ways. But one of the things that we have done for a customer is something as simple as check if I'm doing have a car accident, for instance, check if the counterpart is a friend of me in one of my social networks. Because maybe it's not my wife, or it's not a direct familiar, but maybe it's a close friend of mine. So let's do a double check of this claim. I can tell you the company who has done this, but they have done it, and it makes sense for me, because there is a lot of fraud in the claims. We all know, aware of that. So this is the typical question that may have an impact for the business on the short term and could foster the development of a big data project. Another question, how can I monetize a big event on a big city? We have done this with Barcelona, which were the business problem for them. I think when I was typing out this presentation yesterday, it looked me funny, the business problem, a holiday, but it is. It is a business problem for a big city of Barcelona. The Fiestas de Mercé is the 24th of September. There are music, fireworks, a lot of events in the streets. It's a huge event. And that event has first, a big cost for the city, a huge amount of people involvement from security, transportation, cycling, many things. And from the other side, you have to, and the towns and villages and cities right now in Madrid, in Spain, they are struggling to earn the budget. So they have to monetize that. And you can do it selling advertising, bigger events, things like that. So it comes from the source. I have to save in the way I organize this event, and I have to earn money. In the case of Barcelona, they have another good circumstance in order to do a big data project. They are a pilot of the smart cities, so they have some sensors and they have a lot of things. And when we ran this project, we integrated all these things into a big data model. From the Instagram pictures, Spotify streamings, the data from the parkings, the data from the cycling network, many things that we put in a Hadoop on Windows Azure model that gets them the information of what is actually happening in the city. And first, they can take decisions of, for instance, how to run the transportation for that particular day, but they can do more things, like selling advertising, things like that. Last year, it was the first year we ran it, and we took a lot of conclusions that probably will make the next year's party, holiday, a better event. We hope so. Another typical question that we may find is, how can I understand the particular behavior of a customer when I have several millions? And in order to answer that and do the first demo of the morning, I have Pedro Pablo with me. So Pedro Pablo, it's your turn.
Okay, Santiago. Thank you very much. Well, good morning. My name is Pedro Pablo. I work as a data platform engineer, and I want to show you proof of concept that is made by Microsoft Services. Emilio Angelo is with us here. You have more questions to understand this about. And it's about the cold data records. Cold data records on two telco companies here in Spain. It's a big problem from different point of views. The volume, it's a big volume. And they want to make data analysis around that. There is no really unstructured format, because there's, STED, CSV formats, but we get all the files, many of them, on real time or batch process, they can choose. And we allow to Azure stores to try to make queries against the path. We did that thing using our version of Azure, Hadoop and Azure as a service. And after that, we make a couple of queries against that using Hive. Pretty simple. I will try to show you how to exploit or how to move around this data using Excel, Office, Excel in particular. But of course, you can use another clients, your Java clients, or whatever. Let me show you. Okay, first one, this is Excel, as usual. And you have new things here. Things like Power Query, and you can get data, as we do, from our Azure, Hadoop or Azure as a service, or for your on-premise release, our or another release. As everyone knows, our Azure Hadoop as a service is based on Hortonworks, and it works with Hortonworks and our distribution. And what we do here is get this data. As you can see, we can get data from this part or from another SQL traditional databases or multidimensional databases to make a merge between them, so make queries that make sense on both cases. As you can see inside your application or inside your STL in this case, you can have all these connections. What we have here, I will try to show you inside Visual Studio. It's so simple. We have just three queries. I was the hour before up there, and I know it's difficult to see. I try to focus. And we have here a create external table, as you know, the CDRs, with the different things like a start date or situation or hidden, and it's a raw format that everyone knows, and it's stored on our Azure store. Okay, it's simple, but we have our new table using Hive, and we made two queries to go around this, trying to respond these kind of questions that Santiago told you before. For example, if you want to know all the calls made by a single telephone number, well, it could be very tricky on other platforms. Right here, it could be just that the start from CDRs, where the number is that one. That's all. Or things a little bit more difficult, things like if you want to select from your CDRs, remember, group by for this kind of things, situation, the word type, having these values, etc. And the result of these two queries is the kind of data that we try to represent here. Of course, you can do more things like inside your Visual Studio or Hive, or use UCI, or add new steps from this part. You make another item, new items around this part to make just another Hive query on this, as usual on the other elements of Visual Studio. Let's go to the STL. As you see here, we make some results for this point. Results like you want to see the calls as population. As you see, there is a semantic model here with the data involved on this query, just the location, population, where is the data, and you can make filters around that. And it's simple to do different kind of reports, as usual in your application or in the STL. But I want to show you how easy it is to create a new one by yourself. Because you are here, you have your semantic model, and you can say that you want to create a new one. A new one like Power View, just with the data you were talking about before, because you are based on another query, or you can start from scratch. I create a new one with everything. And it's so simple to get, for example, I want to take the population because we are working on a telco company, and we want to know data around the calls. Let me make a little bit bigger. And things like autonomy, where is the calls done? And I don't want to represent just like bars or things like this. I want to represent inside a map. You got a full map, then you can do the same kind of things going through, and now you have the different calls made for that telco company by their customers based on the population, and you can add another kind of, if it's international, national calls, and it's so simple because you make the previous two queries, Hive queries, as I showed you before. And the end user, in an easy way, as Santiago told you, doesn't need to know if this data is coming from your Teradata, your Hadoop, your SQL, Oracle, or whatever. They just want to make queries against the new data and combine with the traditional results. And that's all that I want to show from the point of view of the end user. Okay? Go back to the slides.
Okay, so the second problem that we want the customers to avoid is underestimating the technical skills and expertise required. Yesterday, I was looking for some information around the internet, and I found this study. This is sponsored by EMC, and it states that probably the demand of the data scientist, which is one of the key roles in data and big data, will outpace the supply on the in the next years, and it's pretty common. Then I found this that I found very funny. That is how to you can hire a big data talent if you are not a Google or Facebook, and this is a problem that is going to explode that could potentially harm the growth of big data, because there is and we could have a problem of good resources, and the cost of those resources could make big data slow down his growth over the coming years. So having this in mind, I'm going to bring back the word to Pedro Pablo to expose how can we help you customers to solve this issue, or at least diminish it.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, from our point of view, many of you can think about if you are using our distribution of Hadoop, you must to work on Windows, thinking about Visual Studio, .NET, etc., or Office. That's not true. We are based on Horton Works, as I told you before, and you can develop on the language that you want. You want to develop in Java, .NET, JavaScript, and you can use all the stuff around Hive, Pig, Pegasus, Mahout, as you see before. Just integrating your own programs developed for another platforms like Cloudera or whatever, or starting from scratch. Okay, our different points here is we add the support for C#, of course .NET, and of course JavaScript, and from the IT Pro point of view, you can manage and start your Marvel use programs, your batch programs, deploying, monitoring. Everything from the point of view of developer point of view and IT Pro is inside the service. You can use PowerShell, or you can use your own client tools you used to do. The kind of stuff that you use here inside HDInsight, you can see is around all the typical frameworks that we have in all the distributions. Around, you have the SDK for Azure, you have Templeton, you have the traditional RDP. Around Ambari, of course, you have HCatalog, and of course, Pig for LLT or LTL processes, and of course, around the storage based on Hadoop file system or our Azure blobs. Okay, and all of these can be orchestrated using UCI and connected using a scope inside our distribution. Let me show you how it works inside Visual Studio. Of course, you can use your own develop, another tools or from scratch or whatever. But from Visual Studio point of view, it's so simple to do an application that makes things or start MapReduce program or jobs. As you see here, I think we have time enough to do from scratch. Let me start another Visual Studio, a full Visual Studio. No, I don't need. I just need a new window. When you start here, you can go through the shortcut, but we're going to start a typical new project. I will choose C#, and I don't worry about the data presentation that will be consumed by my application or my STL or whatever. I will start just a console application, and I will call Big Demo, for example. Everything is here, and you just need to do one more thing. You just need to go to your library package manager and package manager console that I have here. I don't want to lose time typing. Just want to install this package. This little package is all the object model that you need to code inside your Visual Studio. Let's go to import. If you go to the object browser, as you see, because I copy double last and it doesn't work here. Sorry. Let me delete that. And you see the object model is here. And now we have the help client and all the stuff around HDInsight. Right now, we can start a new program. Let me close everything. I will take everything here. I will explain in just in a minute what we're doing. The only difference is my project right now is BitDemo. Okay. Let me save, build. Okay, everything built. And right now you can start the debug process and deploy process. At this point is start a new Java deploy on my Hadoop cluster from here. Just starting that. I start my application. As you see, the only thing that you need to implement is what's your cluster name. Let me leave it here. What are the certificates that you use? Where are your data, your container name, and what kind of job are you trying to run? Well, I'm just executing this Java file using the samples and the arguments that is needed. And from here, I'm just starting with the certificate that I need to do, and start a new job client with a MapReduce job. Pretty simple. And from here, wait for completion. Just a few seconds. Go to the definition of the function, and it's getting the different jobs. These jobs are just a normal query against our Hadoop implementation. As you see, you have here the results of what are all the word counts of the words of these bit files that we have here. And nothing else. It's nothing more difficult than this. It's a few lines of code. I don't want to type. It's the only thing. With our security or in our platform. This query goes through internet from my Visual Studio to Azure, our cluster deployed to HDInsight, get that data, and finish it. In fact, if you go through our cluster and see the monitor part, it must be running tasks right here. Yeah, we executed that. Okay, that's all. Of course, I did it on C#. You can choose to do it on Java or whatever you want. Okay, go back to the slides. The other point, as I told you, is how to manage that, how to deploy, versioning, control, etc., etc. Everything is inside our system center. It's a management pack inside our system center for our distribution of Hadoop, on-premise or over Azure. Of course, I'm very happy for your results, your code, and you have the ability to see the topology that you deployed on this part. Okay, it's simple. It's integrated on your corporate develops. Okay, and last one.
Yes. Before tackling the third point, I would like to state one thing. You have heard us a lot talk about Hadoop and many things, and one of the things that is important for us to underline is that Microsoft is working committed and working hand to hand with the open source community in this scenario. In fact, I have to tell you something. Most of these technologies comes from the search engines in internet, and we own one, Bing, as you may know, and then we did our own technologies. We developed a lot of technologies around Bing. Some years after, the product team decided to drop those technologies, give them back to the open source community, and embrace Hadoop and those technologies. And this is a short of the way of Microsoft has been behaving from some years. But in this case, we are an active player and not a guest. We are an active player of the open source community around big data. With that said, let's focus on the third problem that we've seen in some customers and could happen. It's tightly related to the other ones. It's creating another data silo. I work in BI for many years now, and the normal data silo that I found, they were what some IT guys call the Excel spread marts. But is finally, since you don't have the BI tools that you need, you start to build your own data mart. It's basically built up on Excel, and it's pretty bad to those silo things. First, because it gives lack of integrity on the numbers, and it's something that when you go to the top level of the company, it's something they really hate. Because if you go to a meeting and you don't have to share the same numbers than the other ones, you have a problem because you're going to start arguing which one is better. Then there is a problem with the silo in big data specific. Is if the project starts like an IT fully controlled and not integrated with the rest of the things, even if you have value, business value on that project, it won't scale up. It won't scale up because there won't be the integration needed from the business would like, because business would like to start, if the project works, they will like to start another questions and mix things from this report or that data merge with this one. So basically this is the power of big data, and this is something that we have to bear in mind before heading to the project. Our approach, and you have seen it, and this is sort of a bit the cap of brief though. Our approach is not make things easier, but easier. And the idea is to put first to the end users tools that they are get used to it. Excel plays a major role in this. Then we integrate with many things. We integrate with software analysis services with many BI, let's say, some models. We integrate many things, many sources, like we'll do. But we have two different, let's say, strategies to tackle to create our big data platform, and those are mainly we can run it onto Azure, onto our cloud platform. We can run it on Windows. We run Hortonworks implementations on Windows, and we can run it on a parallel data warehouse. But to explain this on detail, I'm gonna give the word to Pedro Pablo again.
Okay, thank you. Okay, last point. You have three options, as Santiago told you. You can use our Azure service, you can run your Windows server, or you can use our appliance. I will try to go through, first of all, our appliance. Our appliance is called PDW, Parallel Data Warehouse, version 2. And there is 3 main points on this version. 3 main points going through just know the databases. It was there for many years. You have the option to run different regions, and these regions runs Hadoop inside, and you distribute the storage and the CPUs against this appliance to give, for example, the 50% for the Hadoop clusters and the other 50% for our PDW. Inside the same cluster, with the really the advantages here are the virtualization. The virtualization gives you the ability to run both worlds. And this is important for the point that you see there, the polybase. Because if you have everything inside, all the data with different formats, the Hadoop file system, the LTFs, etc., and if you want to query, you will query just with one language, the T-SQL. You don't need to learn around this stuff or Hive, Pig, etc., this point is very different from another, because you have all this stuff around Hadoop, but you have polybase. And you need to start a new project that you have your multidimensional database, and you want to merge with the new node structured data from Hadoop, and you get it on this appliance. Just use polybase, because you know how to code on this SQL. Okay, it's absolutely compatible with we are talking about the Hadoop inside over Azure, and of course it's much faster because 2 things. It's much faster than the Hive and the other frameworks because use the true MPP architecture, and it's go through compile on runtime MapReduce programs. You don't need to go through these frameworks. The results are really incredible, from my experience at least. And the main points are simple query for both worlds, because both worlds need to live, and most of the time need to live together. It's the same skills that you have as a developer or DBA. Polybase is your main software piece to do that. And there is no this piece on other parts, okay? Finally, you have the service. The service, if you are running over Azure, it's RTN. You can try from our Azure, and it's composed for at least 4 nodes. You have as you know, the data nodes, the compute nodes, and a secure node. The secure node is free right now. You have here the prices. This is your architecture. Finally, that you have the first layer with the secure core, the second node with the head node as usual, and you can run as many compute nodes that you need. And it could be geographically distributed, okay, for disaster recovery or whatever that you need. This is the part of the pieces of software that inside our Hadoop Insight version. As you see, well, this is the most usual that we have. And I want to show you finally what we have. We have all the stuff that we were talking all the morning of these 2 days, but we have this piece, Polybase, half of everything, to make your queries again everything, and you can integrate with R, with Mahout, of course with your Java with your Java programs, etc., etc. This is our strategy, and we are moving forward. And as you see, in some cases, is integrated into Azure with Active Directory for the security part, etc. And finally, I want to show you how it looks, because everyone can try very easily. I have a couple of minutes, just this. This is the Azure website. This is your console. You can create HDInsight from the, where are you? Here. From this little wizard. You define the number, how many nodes, which version do you want, the other ones, we are on big data chooser, of course, where you want to run, etc. I have created one of these here, and finally, you can monitor here, or you can connect using typical remote desktop to do the stuff that you used to do against your Hadoop clusters. Just to see that inside of here, we use the Santi login. Are the typical consoles that you used to have. As you can see, we have here based on this Apache release. And here we have all the results of the query that we made before. The last one may be the result of the query that I did from Visual Studio. And of course, you have the result of my reviews, etc., etc. It's so simple to use. If you want to use these consoles, you got it. If you want to move from Visual Studio, you got it too. And if you want to create from this console of Azure, you got it. I propose you try, because in 10 minutes you have a cluster deployed with everything up and start waiting for your programs, for your previous programs in other platforms too. Okay, and well, finish it, Santiago.
Okay, yeah, this is the last slide, and basically what we're trying to expose, and I hope we have done a good work, is big data it's a total opportunity. We are truly committed as Microsoft to the big data world. We're truly committed with the open source community, and we believe that we have to make the things the easier way, because it's the way to make things work faster, and this is something that is critical for the business. We believe that the main key is to give the knowledge to the people that is going to use it for a business purpose. So it's important for us to have familiar tools to them. And it's clear it's important for us to integrate those business. Having only an structure of pure big data could be good, but mixing that with business value data, it's much better. So we have to go, and I don't know if there are any questions. We are on time because we run a lot.
Yes, we are on time.
Sorry.
Thank you very much. I don't know how we managed, but we did. Any questions, please? I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
Do you have any case study, any success story of these type of tools and applications here in Spain? Someone who you could quote saying, "Well,
yes,
this is working."
What you have shown is the insurance company actually exists. It's one of the biggest ones, but we can tell the name, obviously. But the City of Barcelona is a real case, and I think it's written, or it's about to be written in.
No,
it's written in a case study, and you can see it on a website. Which more we can things with many companies. A big fashion company here in Spain. I won't say the name. We're working with them in a very nice project, because they want to see the impact of each single rebate for each single article. So if I rebate this jumper, how that affect the rest of the ticket. So if because maybe it's good for me to make a bigger rebate on this particular jumper because I have additional sales on other things, and they are doing that for several million tickets. So see, we're doing a lot of things, and many of them are documented. And in case you are interested in seeing what we're doing, I don't know if our email is in the program. If not, it's mine is slorente@microsoft.com, and you can feel free to email and ask me anything.